you want to stop spending money on useless pads, stay tuned for this video because I also do have a special guest that will be ranking our least favorite to our most favorite polishing pads that we've used throughout our car detailing careers. That way you can make a better decision on which polishing pad you want to go for and also which one we deem is the best on the market today. There's way more pads than what you see here on the table in the video. So let's get started with the video. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Griots Garage, where we make detailing simple. My name is Sak, and today I have something special for you guys. So first of all, here I have Titan Tim from Shiny Light Detailing here with me as well. And quick disclaimer, Titan Tim is not affiliated in any way, shape, or form with the House of Rags or any other pretty much company, really. And for me on my end, this is technically somewhat of a paid promotion just because some of the equipment and tools that we'll be talking about, aka the polishing pads, are sold by the House of Rags. And some of my favorites are not even sold on the House of Rags. So this just goes to show the unbiased opinions of everything that we've collected throughout my years of detailing and many years of detailing for Titan Tim himself. So he has a wealth of knowledge. And what should we call this video?
Pad-o-palooza.
Jeez, Tim.
Padalicious.
Padalicious. So pretty much this video, I want to say is everything that we've learned and tested throughout our years of detailing done within these, you all will know within the next 15 minutes or so in this video. So
let's do it.
We're just going to pretty much rapid fire everything. And what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about our least favorite pads. Now, this doesn't mean that they're not good. They still work perfectly fine. It's just we will say why it's not our favorite, and then we will move on to our favorites, whether they are sold on my end, whether they are sold on the House of Rags or not. I will tell you why those pads are my favorite. So
let's hit it.
Take it away, Titan Tim, with the first pad that you grabbed.
Pad that I like probably the least, I purchased on Amazon, is the Lake Country Orange pad. Why? Because I'm getting a lot of dusting with this pad.
A lot of dusting.
And I don't get dusting with a lot of other pads. So I tend not to pick this one at all.
And that you said sometimes the pad itself, like you'll put some polish or compound on it and it feels like it's just writing on the paint. It's not really...
It can, yeah. Yeah, with the harder foam pads, absolutely.
Yeah. So with this HDO pad, just a quick disclaimer. For me, I've used this many times, but technically, if I remember correctly, this was really made for the harder German paints because with their old CCS pads, the Lake Country ones with the dimples, those are really good. But for softer paints, the problem is they would conform way too easily. They were very sponge-like and they just wouldn't cut as well and they wouldn't stay as flat on the surface, especially for those harder paints. Now, this doesn't mean that this pad isn't good. This is just something I would use really on harder paints in particular. It's not my favorite. So move on to the next pad.
Another one that I don't care for as much as some of these other ones that are coming up is the microfiber pad I purchased on Amazon. And Meguiar's are a lot of the ones I use. I think this is a Lake Country microfiber. But they do leave a lot of tick marks, especially on softer paints. They do cut pretty hard, and you really can't do a one-step with these. They kind of leave a haze. So,
So, same exactly what he says. These do leave a little bit of a tick mark. And if you don't know what tick marks are, just in case we have some new people, they're just these little marks that just looks like ticks on the paint. So you'll correct the paint inside your garage, you take it outside in the sun, and then you'll see all those tick marks. So that is something with this is if you're going to use a microfiber pad, they get way too hot and they leave tick marks, especially on way softer clears or pretty much all clears because this is a cutting pad. So
cool. Working our way up. Lake Country Blue, really good pad. It's good for harder paints, softer paints. It's going to leave a little bit of haze, but it's pretty hard and it doesn't quite conform if you have a lot of curves on your paint. On flat panels, it's great, but if you have a lot of curves, it's not conforming as much. So what's your take?
So for this, just a quick disclaimer, this Titan Tim is being modest, but he just really destroys, well not destroys, he uses all of these pads for a very long time. So you can just tell from here. So with this pad, pretty much same thing. This is a way harder pad, and this is more for like the German Mercedes-Benz or even harder clears for in that nature. This is pretty much the same realm that we just spoke about, the orange HDO pads from Lake Country.
Right. Next
up.
Okay, working our way up here. I tend to like the Rupes coarse wool pads. They work really good. They do a lot of heavy cutting when you need to do heavy cutting, when you have plenty of clear coat. But the problem I don't like about these is they wear down. These fibers wear down to almost like a microfiber type feel to it. And then also they tend to separate, so they don't last as long as what I would like them to.
Yep. For me, is exactly what Titan Tim said, is they do tend to start delaminating. Now, they work extremely well, but for the best bang of your buck, just how quickly they degrade is not my favorite at all. But if you're doing something to do a two-step paint correction, this is a great way to go. Or if you want to do a one-step, because it is a wool pad, they finish down nicely with a finishing polish on a harder clear. Yep. So
okay, next, all those other ones I purchased on Amazon. This is a VZR pad, and it's a VZR orange. I purchased this on thehouseofrags.com, and it's fairly medium to fairly hard foam, so it will comply, but it does kind of ride up on the paint, especially if you have cold paint.
Yep.
I've seen it ride up too much, and I'm not getting the exact same cut as something I'm going to show you in a little bit.
And anything in particular you wish VZR has done with their pads?
Yeah, I wish they would have more of a lip. Now we've got the Rupes, you can tell there's more of a lip here, and the VZR there's not. I wish VZR would put more of a lip on it. It doesn't have to be this much, but I'd like to go like on emblems, like an M, I would like to put it between an M and get that nice and clear in there. And with the VZR pad, I can't quite fit that in there.
Yep. So one thing about the VZR pads, I've used these a bunch, and there's a couple that are in our favorite section, so just get ready for that part of the video. Exactly what he said. This is really mainly for your harder clears, and it's very rare that you're going to use this pad every single time for every car. It's a great pad, it's just not my favorite, and I agree with Tim. I wish they had a cone for it to be a bit get into the edges and stuff.
Right.
So
okay.
Next up.
Next, purchased this on Amazon. This is the Rupes fine cutting pad, and it's the yellow, and this previously was my favorite. My favorite's coming up, just wait. And I used to like this a lot, but the foam is kind of breaking down quite a bit. It's not lasting quite as long as I would like it to, but I use them significantly, so maybe it's me.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts?
So with the Rupes pads, these pads are actually really, really good and probably one of the staples in the industry. Now for me is I do have the same thing. It's pretty much with almost all the Rupes pads, is that they typically don't tend to last as long. And especially for the foam pads, I think it's because of this huge cone lip. So it's probably a little bit off balance. And then if you get one edge a little bit too much, it may just start degrading quickly. So
yep.
That is something great all-around pad, jack of all trades, master of none, but not on our favorites.
All right, next, here we go. This is the Rupes Ultra Fine pad. It's very similar to the yellow one, but it's softer. So if you have like dark paint or even black paint with a finishing polish, you can finish down almost haze-free. And you're gonna see in a little bit, we're gonna have some pads here that give it a black paint, haze-free.
Yep.
So this will get you pretty close. So on the medium dark paints, on the lighter paints, and you need to finish a little bit more. This is a good one.
And you could tell he used these pads a lot. Just look at it. It's not even white anymore. It's like beige. And it has all these other products. This looks like Black Hole from Poor Boys on this end. So next up, forgot to include this one. So this medium wool pad from Rupes. So for me personally, I like this pad as a one-step pad if I'm to do an all-in-one using an AIO. But the problem with this is that this is your medium step. But the problem with this is the pads, this wool gets a bit wonky afterwards, a little bit sticky. It's just not my favorite. It does an amazing job if you're gonna use it once or twice, maybe 3 times, and then I just go ahead and change it because it does have the same effect as well as the coarse wool pad where it starts delaminating. So what are your takes on this root pad?
I have never used this pad.
You've never used it?
I have no idea.
This is an awesome pad.
I get to learn from you, man.
You can use this pad with the all-in-one. You'll finish down amazingly nice, especially on softer clear. So this was meant to be a one-step of this. So it's an amazing pad. It's just the fibers tend to get a little bit wonky afterwards, after like 2 or 3 uses. But again, you get your money, what you pay for after a job, right? If you're charging what it is. What is this one? It looks like an HDO. Oh, it's a Car Pro.
Well, we're going to get to our favorite pads shortly, but we're going to jump to the Car Pro gloss pad. And if you have like black Mustang paint or black paint that's without metal flake, I mean it's like pure black. If you need to finish down with a finishing polish, this finishes down really well. But the Lake Country black finishes down slightly better than the Car Pro gloss pad, because I would take a front quarter panel of a black Mustang and I would do my final finishing ultra gloss, and I would take an intense light on this, take an intense light on this. I'm getting a little bit clearer paint than I am on this one. Again, it's subjective. Your mileage may vary.
For me,
and both of these I purchased on Amazon.
Amazon as well. For me personally, I've never used, I've only used this once or twice, so I can't really say how much more tests that I've done. This, to me, finishes down nice, but again, he does the GMs and jet black Mustangs, so that's his calling. But yeah, so that's what we have so far. Now, some honorable mentions that I just want to bring up, Titan Tim, is these are the knitted wool pads from Griots Garage, and I used to get these in the 1-inch, and these are super aggressive. The problem with these is they last 1 or 2 times, especially the small pads, because the fibers and the knitted wool would just go all over the place after 3 uses. But I don't know if you ever use this. I
use the ones that came with my Maxshine.
With your Maxshine.
1-inch.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So
same thing.
That is pretty much it with that. Now let's move on to our favorite pads.
Yeehaw.
So let's move on over. So put that over on that side.
Sounds good.
And I will grab this. So
here we go.
I'll start off with one that's not even the House of Rags related.
Good.
So this is one of my favorite pads of all time, and it is the 3D purple pad. This is their spider cut pad. I really enjoy this pad because it has these slits in there, kind of like a rinseless wash, but polish gets in there, and then when you're cutting, the polish just starts to go out and you feel like you're getting more product on the paint, and it's giving more lubrication, so it's not going to dry up as quickly, and these slits will give it a little bit more cut, which is just a phenomenal pad. The only problem with this pad is that you cannot get it anywhere. They're just always sold out. You can only get it on 3D, or you could get it on Autoality, and pretty much they're always sold out. So if you want to resort to a pad like this, you could go on Sky's the Limit and get the Car Pro slitted pads as well. Have you ever used a pad like this?
I have not.
Okay, so you get to take this home and try it out.
All right. Sweet.
So this one, you never use this pad either?
Nope.
So this is the DIY detail wool pad. So we're going to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. So I really enjoy this pad. It's pretty much 90% of my jobs, to be quite honest. And I never like to go too aggressive, but these are my favorites 1.5 step pads, meaning I could cut pretty nice, finish down very nice, and then move on to my second step. This is the old generation. Now this wool finishes down nicer, this black wool, and they moved on to buff and shine, and now it is cone. So this is my favorite, and the lamination is a lot better, as you can see here.
Definitely.
So that is favorite pads. I use them on my channel every single time. So cool. Take this one away, since I know we both use this pad. One
of my favorites, the Eurofiber 50/50, purchased on Amazon, and I have a lot of these pads. I probably have about 15 of these. They last a very long time. 50% polishing fibers, 50% cutting fibers. They can delaminate if you heat them up quite a bit. I've seen that, but they last. If you don't heat them up, they last quite a while. They will leave some tick marks on darker paint. You may not see it if you're correcting or using artificial light, but if you back out your dark paint or your black paint into the sun, look at it in the sun, you will see some fine tick marks.
Okay.
It can happen, especially on softer paint.
Yep.
You?
For me, I agree. This is, to me, a staple in the industry. I was introduced to this by Brian Spittler over 5 years ago when he did a one-step on the Range Rover with 3D1. Now, exactly what he said is on darker paints, if you're a bit too aggressive or you're polishing on a high speed and overwork the pad where it's hot, what's going to happen is you will get tick marks on any car's paint. Now, this is the best pad if you want to use it on, say, a white vehicle and do a complete one-step with max defect removal. Those tick marks are a little bit extremely hard to see. Now, one dislike that I don't like about the Buff and Shine or the Eurofiber pads from Buff and Shine is I wish they were coned.
Yeah.
That's what I wish it was. So that way I could get closer into the edge, but a staple in the industry, one of my favorites as well.
All right, moving on here. This is a Visor, and it's wool and a microfiber pad. This cuts really, really well, really strong. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel, shineyourlightdetailing.com. You can check it out. Like and subscribe while you're there, if you like. This cuts really well. It doesn't finish too good, especially on medium or softer paints.
Yep.
Harder whites, you could probably get some finishing off it if you finesse it a little bit. How about you?
Yep. For me, I used this with you on your channel when we did that one vehicle together. So with this is the same thing, exactly what he said as well, is this is, we could knock out 2 birds with 1 stone since this is the wool pad. So this is another Visor pad. So for me is exactly what he said. On medium to softer clears, you will get a little bit of a haze or you may leave some tick marks if you are a bit too aggressive. But this is, to me, the best 1-2 combo. This is why I substituted the orange pad from Visor with this one, because this will do 95% of your detailing jobs if you want to stick with one brand. And yeah, so that's pretty much it with this. This one, for me, jack of all trades, master of none. Great gloss, great finish, and great cut if you want to do a one-step.
I'm saving that one to the end
Because
I have a lot to say about that one.
Okay, so we'll save this one to the end for
moving on. You guys got to see it.
So this is the McKee's 37. Have you ever used this pad?
I have not.
So this is the McKee's 37, the Cool Wave pad, which I really like waffle pads, just so you can see, and you see it on my channel all the time. I really like this pad. This is a black finishing pad. It's a great pad, and the reason why I like this finishing pad is because it's a lower profile. Look how low it is.
It is.
It's a low profile, so if you have any type of German paint, sometimes if you were to use a thicker waffle pad, it's not going to translate as well, because sometimes you may need a little bit more heat to cut through that German clear and give it a better finish. And again, this isn't even sold on the House of Rags, and still one of my favorite pads of all time as well.
Okay, moving on up. This blue foam pad is developed by Pan the Organizer, clean by Pan the Organizer. I did purchase this on the houseofrags.com. I have 3 of these.
And he has used that one a lot because this is an unused one.
Correct. So this has that lip in there. So if on emblems, if I need to get in between an M or whatever letters, I can get in there really good. It is a great one-step. I've got a video on shineyourlightdetailing.com on YouTube, and which shows how well it cut that hood, and then it also finished it really well too. Really so you guys got to check that out. What are your thoughts? I like it. Yep.
So for this pad, it's a great pad as well. And if you could grab the Rupes yellow that's right over there, so we could show the comparison on why for me, it's a little bit better. If you look at these 2 profiles, it's a little bit better of a coned edge and a slightly lower profile. So this way it cuts a little bit more. So this is why I'm pretty sure probably Titan Tim enjoys this one more, because it cuts very good for it to be a one-step pad and then finish down amazingly well.
Plus the foam feels different. It is, and I did hear, I can't remember who told me, but I did hear that this is a different type of foam.
Yeah.
And here it's pretty hard.
Yeah, it's coarse. And then this
one on here is not as coarse, yeah.
So yeah.
But it complies.
But yeah.
So I love it.
So it's a great pad. It's a all-in-one great one-step pad for sure. Yep. I agree with this.
Cool.
On that end. For me is the DIY detail. You see it on my channel every single time I use this. Probably Titan Tim's laughing like, yo, mofo, can you just move on? You use this all the time. It's my favorite pad. I don't know, it's one of my favorite pads. So that is it. And then detail code. What do you want to say
Yeah,
about that?
if you need to really finish down, it's very soft foam. And so let's start with a little bit of a, if I put too much polish on this pad, it actually has channels where it can actually sling out a little bit. So you got to keep your speeds down a little bit in the beginning. And then if you want to crank them up, you can crank it up later. But you want to be careful with how much you put on this. But I love how this finishes. And you can purchase these. I have 2 of them. I purchased them on thehouseofrags.com. But I think they're great. How about you?
For me, I think this pad is great as well. Now, one thing I must say is I don't do crazy flat jet black paint, so I really haven't been able to see a true crazy difference between these 3 pads, really. Just, of course, that, as you can tell, is the detail coat's a little bit thinner profile than the DIY detail, and the DIY detail has a cone, and then you have the clean by pans, which is this one. To me, the clean by pan is slightly softer than all 3. But to me, in terms of finishing, they've all finished well because there are finishing pads at the end of the day. Kind of how the Car Pro and the Lake Country HDO pads, they finish down well for me. It's just you have that 5% eye for that GM paint, flat black paint. So overall, amazing pad as well.
Okay,
so
we're getting down to the end.
Yeah, we're getting down to the end. So this is just a quick, this is a rotary pad. This is called the Thunder pad from Oberk. One of my favorite pads. I enjoy this stuff. Cuts really well. Use it on a rotary. Don't be afraid to use a rotary. But this is for my heavily defected vehicles. That's all I gotta say on this part.
All right.
It's a monster at cutting. Talk about your favorite.
All right. If I had to pick one pad that could do everything I ever wanted to with either a strong compound or a finishing polish, Pan the Organizer's pad would probably come in a close second, but the #1 pad that I would pick, bar none, is the ZZvizzRR Yellow.
Yep.
And I did purchase this. I actually purchased a lot of them on thehouseofrags.com. This one's brand new. You should see some of the other ones I have. You can tell there's a lot of polish on the residue. But actually the staining, all the residue's gone. You can get this to cut really well, but it finishes excellent.
Extremely well.
Unless you're doing a flat black Mustang or whatever with pure black paint, you don't really need to finish down anything less than this with the finishing polish. So if I had to pick one pad, take me on Desert Island, this is it.
This is it. So there it is. This is Titan Tim's favorite pad of all time. And one thing that most of you don't know is that ZZvizzRR has this technology where their pads stay cooler for longer while they're running. And that concludes everything, Titan Tim. I think we've rushed through, you know, and explained quickly what we don't like and what we like. And hopefully you all found this video informative, and everything that we've gained knowledge of within years of detailing combined. Hopefully you all learned this all in one video. And if you want to see and demo any of these pads, go on Shine Your Light's detailing channel, because he's been doing this for a long time and he has plenty of videos showing all kinds of pads on his channel. And then same thing with me if you want to take a look at this as well. So anything you'd like to say? No,
that's it. We went through as fast as we can. If you have any more questions, in-depth questions, leave your questions in the comments. I will definitely read those, as I'm sure you will as well, and we'll try to answer as best as possible.
Yep, and then for disclaimer as well, any other Buff and Shine pads, we've used a whole bunch. I've donated a bunch earlier this year, so he saw the whole thing I donated. It's just I don't have them here. So yeah, any questions, leave them down below, and use code DMS at checkout for 10% off. Follow Tim from Shine Your Light Detailing, and other than that, I will see you all on the next one. Peace.